Hi, everybody. Catherine here again with Cindy.
Hey guys.
So we're going to go back over some of the stuff that we talked about in our last video and then move forward into the tools that we are currently working on. So last time that we met, we talked about the goals that we're trying to achieve through this lesson. And we came up with the fact that we're going to continue using smart slides for whole group instruction. So making sure that the kids are having that small bit of review and then going into their new topics of that current week or that current unit, which you're doing a great job with. And we're going to continue using those. Yes, and it's a good way to just
totally make it interactive.
Yes,
interactive.
They can
come to the board, do all of the stuff on the board. It's great.
And it's a very nice and quick too. So we're going to continue using the smart slides, and then we talked about finding an independent math tool for the kids to use once they finish their worksheet that gets checked. So something that we can enrich for those students that need it, as well as go back and review those standards that may have been missed on previous assessments. So we originally thought about using SplashLearn, but upon further research and review, SplashLearn was not the most user-friendly for us, given that our accounts are set up with 3 different math classes, and you can't individually assign.
Yeah, you can't do the small, tiny topics. You've got to stay with the huge, main, broad topic, which was not helpful and redundant for some children and over the heads of other kids, so it was not working.
Right, so we obviously want to meet those students where they're at, and again, giving that across the class is not necessarily our best option if we want to look at providing that enrichment or review for those students. So we are currently now moving into looking at Prodigy, which is a math tool provided by the county. My kids seem to love using it, and I'm sure yours will too, because they've used it in previous years. It is very independent. The kids do it on their own. It's like a game for them, so obviously it's very engaging. It's also very interactive, easy to use, user-friendly for both us and the students, which is nice. And we can independently assign those works that they need based on their assessments throughout.
That would be great.
So looking at their reports and going through and talking about what do they need to move further, do they need to go back? Obviously it starts at a grade level behind, which is nice. So do they master first grade standards, which is good for your class, especially given co-taught and some of those students need that review of those first grade standards, but also those kids that are gifted and just moving at a lightning speed, we can push them forward as well.
Yes, that would be awesome.
All right, so we're going to go over a checklist together. So looking at things that we're going to use for our modeling. So that's what you have in front of you there. Okay, so checklist we're looking at is the I do, we do, you do checklist. So we're just going to go over it. So the I do steps, we're going to review steps of our strategy. So looking at Prodigy, obviously explaining how it's going to help the students learn, specify what they're going to have to do in order to log into Prodigy, what it looks like for them, think out loud if we need to come up with any problems that need to be solved, anything that we need to currently work on, and then look at some categories that may not work for us in terms of using this tool. So that's going to be more of me helping you. And then the we do part, so we're going to do it together. So we're going to set up your account. Again, looking for strategies, going through the steps on how students are going to work through it. Maybe come up with user-friendly directions for the kids they can easily log in.
Yes, that would be great.
Asking students how they're going to explain their thinking. So maybe coming up with some sort of way for them to record their work on a piece of paper. So that way you can see it.
Checklist or a little log that they're doing.
Encouraging students, obviously, with authentic praise. That's big across the board for any kid. Evaluate what they're understanding, and then obviously going back to see what they need to go, what we need to do to review.
Got it.
And then the you do is going to be the students performing the Prodigy independently, giving specific feedback, so polling them to go over those questions that they've missed. Looking at categories that we may need to go back over in small group lessons or in our smart slides for whole group, maybe everybody missed it. And then having students record their grade maybe on a progress chart.
Perfect.
So is there anything on there that you think we need to change or add?
No, this looks great. That looks terrific.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set up your account in Prodigy. So we're going to go through our Clever.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, Clever is kind of like our county-wide place to go where all of our apps are available that are provided for us through the county.
I'm on the spot. Gotta hurry up and log in here. Okay, so now let's see if it will. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Should I go to Resource Library?
No, it should be
down
here.
Here. I should go to our classroom.
Yeah. Do you have it linked on your classroom?
Mm-hmm. Too many logins.
All right, so you'll click on the big P for Prodigy.
Okay.
All right, and because we want to sync with our new classroom of students, you're going to go to the left and click on the Sync with Clever.
Okay.
And then you'll click, yes, your current. Well, actually, you shouldn't. You probably only need to hit the home room because that has all of your students in there.
Okay.
So that way we only have the one class of kids.
Oh, look at all that. Okay. Sorry. Scroll. All right, sync.
Okay, so on the left you'll see homeroom 2 with your 22 students. So if you click on that, that should pull up your current classroom of kiddos. So if you go in the student roster, hopefully that's what it says. No, you're fine.
Oh, right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay! I got it right.
One thing that may be helpful for the students, which I went through and I changed all their passwords, so their student numbers are their passwords instead.
Okay.
Their usernames are a little funky, so I had them print out. I printed out little cards and we just taped it in their folders.
Can you change their username or no? That's automatic.
Nah, that's automatic, unfortunately. So
but this is the top one is their username, and this is that's their password?
No, I think that one's their username.
That's their username? Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So I went through and to make it easier for them to log in, I went and changed it to their student number as their password.
Okay.
And then each of them took a little, it's like a
little piece of paper.
Yeah.
I remember that from the other one.
And I just had them tape it in their take-home folders.
Yep.
So that way they can access it at home as well.
Okay.
They should be able to automatically log in through Clever, so they shouldn't have to type anything in.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay.
But when I was using it in the classroom on the iPads, they do have to type it in because it's different kids every single time. Oh. So they're not automatically logged in to just their account.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask. All right. Got it.
So I think if they're logged in at home, because they're already on their own account through there, it should automatically just take them straight to it.
But if they go on a laptop and they just log in as themselves from the get-go from the laptop,
they should be
their whole account pulls up and they're okay.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah. But because the iPads are unanimous across the board, it's not individualized per kid.
Right.
They'll have to type everything in.
Okay. Was there a Prodigy icon on that?
Yeah, so if we go to the digital library, you can look it up, and then it automatically downloads it if you click install.
Oh, okay.
Got it. Okay. So I can help with that as well.
Great. Yeah.
Okay. So, if we look, I'm going to pull mine up just so you can see what some of the reports look like. So, my students, I've had a couple log in, and then some of them are kind of floating around as we go through. But if I pull up one of the reports for one of the students, if you look at the detailed breakdown, they start at a grade level behind. So, it looks at, did they master the standards from their past grade level, and then they go through up to wherever they can. So I can see that this particular student missed 2 of the questions on operations and algebraic thinking. So in the placement test detailed breakdown, I can go through and see that she missed these two particular questions based on what was presented to her.
Right.
And obviously this is something we've covered before, but I think the wording might have tripped her up. So this kind of goes back to the whole, we can pull them into a small group and go over the question, see if it was just a misunderstanding, or if it's something that we actually need to go back and reteach as well.
That's a great tool.
So again, like you can go through, pull up each standard. It shows you those specific questions that they were asked. What does it look like? Maybe they were just rushing through it. So like the time, for example.
Well, I love how you can pull it up and then call the child over and talk through things with them really quick, just to kind of go over it so they have a better understanding.
Yeah. And it also helps that under, if you pull up the individual student, it shows you how long they spent on each question or each standard.
Right.
So like, for example, to take 68 questions, they only spent 24 minutes. So they spent 36 seconds answering 4 questions. So if you have those students that are flying through and missing everything, obviously you can be like, you need to slow down.
That's a great feature.
Go back over it again. So I find this tool a lot easier to use than Splash Learn. The kids love it. It's like a little game for them, so they have to answer the questions correctly in order to play a little battle thing against somebody else.
Fun.
But I mean, it's very engaging. They're always asking to play it immediately after they finish. So definitely a good tool to promote that engagement as we go through. So looking ahead, I think if we work together, our best approach for modeling is I'll come into your room and we'll have the kids log on to devices. So we'll check out the laptop cart. After the whole group math lesson, they'll do their independent work. If we need to pull kids, we can. But then we have each of the kids log on and just test it out, kind of get a feel of how do they like it? Is it something that they want to continue to use? Maybe it'll work for some, not for others. And then we can look at the data from there and see if that's working for them and assign individual assignments based off of that.
Awesome.
So going forward, we figured out the goal that we want to use Prodigy as our independent math tool for enrichment or review. We're going to continue to take those steps to help those students that need to be pulled back to review those questions. And then we're going to go ahead and do that modeling. So I can either come to you, or if you prefer, you can come to me. We can do it in my classroom. So since my kids have already started, you can kind of see those ones that have, like where those kids are at, as well as the ones from the beginning.
I think it'd be good for me to go there first, and then when we're done with that, then you come to the room and kind of help us set everybody up and be like a little, Miss Ward, I don't get it.
No, that's a great idea. Yeah, so you'll come to me. I'll model it for you with the students, and you can even have little discussions with them because some of them love to talk about it. They will talk about it forever. So that'll be a great way for them to kind of verbalize what they're working on. Because sometimes it's hard. I think that's one of the only things. It's hard for you to see what exactly are you working on right now. Because if I look over their shoulders, half the time they're playing the little game. So I'm not sure what the skill was that they were working on. So having them kind of verbalize, what did you just work on? What questions did you answer? Did you miss any? Why do you think you missed it? So going back over that with them, I think will be a good opportunity as well. So we have any questions?
No, that sounds good. You know, do you ever thought about doing like a log where they would log, like keep like a little recording sheet, like maybe once a week that says, what did you do in Prodigy today? That like, how did you think you did? Like, I wonder if that would help some of my kiddos.
So kind of like a little self-check?
Yeah, just also to like say that it's worthwhile. Like it's not just a game. But there's a skill or multiple skills that you're working on. But let's get them started with everything first before we implement something.
So kind of get them to feel it out a little bit, and then if they like it, then we'll give them a little log to keep track of. Can you tell me something that you worked on today? Like, did you work on time? Did you work on addition and subtraction? Did you work on measurement? Just tell me, like, give an idea of what skills they were working on, and kind of an idea of, do they like it?
Well, and if they thought they did well.
Yes.
Like that one kiddo that you said, sometimes they may not know.
Yeah, right.
They're like, well, I think I did really well, but then look what you did. You missed the time and you didn't know how to do the colon or whatever.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I think some of them will just rush through it because they want to play the game.
Yeah.
So I think having that check will be a good tool for us to go back. And also be like, we can pull them based on that because it's a little informative assessment. So
have little conferences then. Perfect.
Yeah. All right.